You don't just give me 2 seconds here. We have Michael online. Michael, I'm just checking before we get started if you are planning to make a public comment. So we have Rob here too. Evening, Rob.
Good evening, Brian.
Rob, are you here just to listen and hang out, or do you want to make a public comment?
I'm just here to listen, hoping to pick up anything.
Okay, excellent. And if you wouldn't mind muting your mic, so
You
we
got it.
don't pick up your dog barking in the background. Good to see you. Okay,
Great. The May 2026 meeting of the Board of Commissioners for the South Bowie Parks and Recreation District is called to order at 6:00 p.m. We have a quorum present. Is there anyone for public comment?
yes, we have Anna here tonight, who is here for public comment, and as she's been told, she has 3 minutes to discuss anything you'd like to.
Okay, starting now?
Starting now.
Okay, well, the first thing was the Articles of Incorporation being filed in 1981. Which Tim Scrivens was a founder and the founding board of directors. Schultz, Tim Porter and Dr. Steve Shapiro. And the very first public event was in 1982 on May 23rd. I don't have the where the DeSoto's played at the American Legion Hall. Raised $300. Margaret Waterman and Wally Lehman attended. But anyway, yeah, so my first, was to bring it to the attention that 2 years of work happened before 1983. We had a lot of stuff done. And others from Jack Metcalf and Spellman office back then. And the second thing, which the South would be Equestrian Center. A lot of interest was raised there's a huge equestrian community here. There's a tremendous amount of interest for the trail system, which we got that started back in 1980. A lot of that has been accomplished. 12 acres was set aside for an equestrian center, an indoor arena. Actually, in 1984, I was approached by the Naval Navy. I'm the original founder of the Hope Therapeutic Riding Program of the horse. And so they were donating an airplane hangar that was being removed, especially to the Army Corps of Engineers helicopter in Danville. And so one thing I'm interested, would like to find out more is about the possibility of revisiting Community Equestrian Center, because there is a demand for that. The fairgrounds is not suitable. Pretty much the two things I wanted to talk about. And thing, but and I'm talk that for of a comprehensive plan. I was at a newsletter and supplement the South Director. So we have a comprehensive plan. 1984. 1983, when I called over Equestrian Center. We're going to report all the activities that were going on in 1982. It's been questioned on the equestrian community and stuff like that. Under press releases and stuff like that. But that was it.
And you're just on, that's almost exactly 3 minutes on it. You have very good internal clock. We had a good chance to talk ahead of time. And as I said earlier, we'd love to have you back anytime you want to come back and share more.
Yeah, and
there's a lot of really interesting.
Any of these artifacts.
I kept copies of several, so I scanned several other letters and things for our historical.
Yeah, we have the timeline.
Yeah.
The first two
Yeah.
years.
Did you put your contact information on
Yes,
the
I did.
sign-in sheet? Okay.
Yes, I did.
Okay, great.
Yeah, might have some follow-up questions. Well, thank you. That was
Incredible archive.
a great discussion and an interesting.
I probably have a bunch of more files elsewhere, but these, with the anniversary of the first public event in DeSoto host, I'm going to be posting that tomorrow on my Facebook. The band members are still around. So, Throwback Thursday, blast from the past.
I would definitely glance at that after a media.
Oh yeah, you're absolutely welcome to go through
Thank you for bringing
Yeah,
that.
if you don't want to stay for the meeting, perhaps you'd be willing to leave these for a day or two for Brian.
I'd be happy
Terry
to.
to
So how
scan
does the
and
meeting last?
probably a couple hours.
Yeah.
If you tell us where, we could return them to you.
We could drop them off at your
We
house.
could return them to
We'd be
you.
happy to, if you feel comfortable.
Yeah, some of these like original copies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Online copies.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of work we did back there.
I
And
would,
it's so rewarding to see what you guys have become. Community, yeah, it's such an amazing community.
and anything else you think might be an interesting thing we can make a copy of, we'd love to have, just for our, as the keeper of kind of the history of some of this stuff.
had
So we love that
t-shirts
stuff.
and cups and regular fundraisers, things we used to sell helium balloons. I'm not sure how they did those. Just anything like chuck
Your work paid off.
the 4th of July parade, you just get the South Indy recreation out there.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thanks, Anna. That was awesome.
Was there anyone else for public comment?
There was not.
Michael didn't chime in?
No.
Okay. All right. We shall move on to the financial report, please.
All right. Well, we're going to see some much bigger numbers than we're accustomed to in the financial report. The revenue and expenditures overall are very healthy, as they typically are. Couple things to note: the property tax revenue is up 1% over what it's been the last 3 years. So that just means people are paying their bills, which is great. So that just increased the revenue. A couple of just lines were noted. Aquatic revenue is down a little bit. It might just be all the spots haven't been filled yet, so that'll even itself out. Other revenue, there's a line item 8005. This is the reimbursement from the bond for the cost of issuance. So there's a $24,000 cost of issuance that gets absorbed into the bond. So it makes the numbers look a little wonky, but we didn't pay that. We got the full 12 million with the issuance. But then just for comparison, if you look at our revenue and this time last year in the May 2025 meeting, our revenue was 664,000. So you can see where the levy that passed and the increased revenue and how much different it is now. That's 3 times more than what we had this time last year. So yeah, big responsibility, but interesting to see. And then if we go over to the fund balance, a similar thing, you see if you look at May of 25 for the M&O last year was little over 1.2 million. Now it's almost twice that. So that's awesome. And we're still, capital reserve, the note on there about the capital reserve being spent. I took that off this month. We that rope swing that you guys, not the rope swing, but the rope climbing structure that you guys approved. There's been a little delay. It was supposed to be installed by now, so we're still, I think this next month is supposed to go in. So that money hasn't been spent yet, but it will be. Playground's full. Construction fund looks great. As you noted, a couple months ago, we got the $12 million. So we're still a little over $18 million in the pocket right now for the construction fund, writing big checks every month. So this won't last too long, but it's there now, which is good. So today we've spent a little over 9.2 million on the project. So, and as you can see, the interest, we've crossed over 700,000 in interest. So that's a nice perk. Contingency report, it looks great. Some highlights from the contingency reports over the last month. Placeholders, again, are not things that are committed. They're just things that in our budget we're holding on to just in case we want to do it. We had thought we might have to potentially build or dig a new well. Fortunately, we don't. So that was removed from the contingency. We did add money in as for the possibility of adding courts, something we talked about at last month's meeting, to the side of the building there. So we just kind of put some money in the budget for that. Not that we're committing to it again, just that there's money there if we want to. We also did some fixing of the office structure with the decision to move our staff over to that building. What was once a conference room there is now gone. So it cost a little bit to put in some partition and some other things that make that place functional. So about 10,000 got moved in contingency out of that. And then our PSE electricity has been a little crazy. We've been getting, what was the last bill? 1,100.
Yeah, 1,200 something.
Yeah, and that's for a temporary outlet that basically powers up their They're temporary portables. So we went back and forth with PSC the last couple months. The big thing is that they're not getting a signal from one of their units. So every 3 months, they're required, if they don't get a signal, to make a physical appearance here. What they're going to find when they physically make an appearance is that we are paid up for basically the next 3 or 4 months because we're not using nearly as much as they're estimating we're using. So, so we are, when they put the portable heaters in there this winter, those things suck a lot of electricity. But again, you're paying $1,000 a month for electricity for 3 little trailers. That doesn't make any sense. So we're tracking that very closely now to make sure that PSE is right. So anyways, but contingency, we're still at almost 2.2 million. And as you can see, the building's going up and the groundwork's all done. So, 99% done. So, you guys, is this the first time you guys have seen across the street in a while? So the last week or so has been quite a dramatic.
Yeah.
It's been quite a dramatic week with the stuff going vertical. So, and that's just, I think we're 2 weeks or a week and a half away from the CLT going on. So it's gonna frame out to look like a real building real quick. So,
The drone shots are awesome. Who's ever taken that? Yeah, you can see the vortex and the river and everything. So kudos.
that's our new drone guy right there.
Are you the one that posts everything on Facebook then? That's where I saw.
Did you put the drone pictures on Facebook?
Oh,
You didn't?
I think the Parks and Aquatics Foundation did.
Yeah.
somehow all those pictures
I can
make.
I can chime in on that. Yeah, I posted that today. I shared your pictures. Thank you for putting those up.
Okay, yeah, because I shared them out with the foundations. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got a lot of great comments on our Facebook page.
good. Yeah, feel forward to forward all the positive comments. Just kidding. Yeah, it's all positive. It's fun. It's fun to watch this thing come together. So, anyways, those are the highlights financially. We're doing really well. Just like I said, writing a lot of big checks, but everything's balanced and the money's in the bank. So, that LTGO that we need to get probably early next year, maybe late this year. We're gonna push that off as long as we can, but we'll go for that when we need it. But with 18 million in the bank right now, we're not gonna need that for a while. So good. So anyways, so things should be. Yeah. The vouchers. A few things that I pointed out that I'd welcome any of your comments. Let me scroll down here a little bit. Just things to point out. You'll see a $3,270 bill from Hagenus to fell some trees. This is where they went out and there's a bunch of trees that were dangerous, and we hired a guy that they were more than Tom and his crew could do, so a little more risky. So had someone out to spend the day at the community park dropping a bunch of trees that were dangerous. So that was that.
How many trees do you think that was roughly?
Oh, I knew the number, but off the top of my head, it's not coming to me. It was a day's worth of work, and it was like about a month ago, and it was a really weird, windy day. It was the one day that was just like, and we thought he would cancel on us because he's up there with the trees.
Right.
That's what he does. So I guess he felt comfortable. So I'm not sure off the top of my head, Jake. Teresa, you'll see a big thing from Teresa. Obviously, between the audit and the bond rating, we have 20,000 in budget for Teresa services. A large portion of it went this last month. So that's just, we knew that was coming because she was quite helpful through the whole bond rating and all of that. So, and just getting our financial statements together. So, that was expected. As we just talked about, we bought a drone. We had contracted with a gentleman to do our drone work once a month. Was having a little reliability issue as far as getting him out there consistently. And then just decided we've got Sky, who just seems like a drone guy. And sure enough, we decided just to make an investment in our own drone, and it's worked out well for the pickleball and for the pool. So we got some cool pickleball pictures, and we're getting regular drone pictures now with Sky at the Aquatic Center. And right now, with things changing every day or two over there, it's nice to get that updated. As reported, I think last month or the month before, Sky was supposed to go to the WRPA conference this spring, but he got sick. So you'll see a refund in there. That's what that refund. Actually, you didn't get sick. You threw your back out, as I recall. Yeah, sorry, bad memories. And did I have anything else that was interesting? I don't think so. Any comments from any of you on the vouchers? Anyone else see anything that stuck out? Overall, they were pretty straightforward. All right, that is all I have for vouchers and
right, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Eric, I.
Krista, aye.
Jake, I.
Jennifer, aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it and the consent agenda is approved. Moving on to the staff report.
All right, I think I'm going to start the staff report and then we have our quarterly recreation report today. So I'll hand it off to Sky here in a second. I accidentally closed the file here, so if you'll give me a quick second, I'll just open this back up real quick. There we go. Okay, recreation report will be given by Sky in a few minutes. Facilities, McBride fencing came out, as we talked about a month or so ago. The Little League banners had bent one of the main frames in the backstop of backstop number 1 on field 1. So McBride came out and took off the top portion, which was they could just take off the top portion, put a new one in, straighten it out. It still needs, it's safe, and McBride is safe. It's still, when you look up, you can see some disconnecting. As we talked about not too long ago, the backstops are getting old, and at some point we're going to look at replacing them. But for now, they're safe and they're back in place, and the banners have been lowered. Thank you, Little League. This isn't in the report, but I will say Tom and his guys have been working in the, for lack of a better way to put it, the campground space over the last few days, clearing up some of the skidder roads. Making those roads accessible so people can walk through and cut through instead of just doing the Falcon Loop. There's some internal trails now that people can walk through. So, and again, it doesn't cost us anything other than the staff time. So his guys just got the tools out the last few days, and I don't have the pictures with me yet, but they're really cool. And Tom and I went up and I walked it today, and it's like just a cool enhancement, and just a nice simple thing you do. So, so that is the facility and grounds director's report. Sky and I met with DJ Lockwood, who's the COO of the Snohomish County Boys and Girls Club. They recently split their Coupeville club up and created a South Whitby club where they do after school programming here, also do summer camp programming. They're going to do at the community center this summer. We discussed a lot of opportunities to work together. They particularly are interested in sports. They're talking flag football. They may want to work with us in doing an all-island basketball program this year. So instead of us just doing our youth program, doing it with Coupeville and Oak Harbor and coordinating that, which is great. A lot of good energy. We've actually had 2 meetings with them at this point. But one of the interesting things we started talking about was the gym they're building in Coupeville, and which I say, what we could use, because they do fundraising. And he goes, this is what we do. We build, we do fundraising and we build things. And I said, oh, well, he goes, and then his comment to me, he goes, but land is tricky. And I said, well, we've got land. I said, we've got space. And I said, it's a bigger discussion, but we're going to start having that bigger discussion with some of the power players over on the other side, just about whether or not there's an opportunity to look at our phase 2 as a fundraising opportunity for them to build space onto the aquatic center. So very, very preliminary conversation. But he lit up when I said that, because it's what they do. He says we build things, and that stabilizes our programs, gives us credibility. So we'll see. I mean, I'll keep you updated. I'm hoping. I asked for a meeting in June with his CEO and him to sit down and see if there's a path forward. So interesting. We selected RecDesk as our new registration system. We'll be onboarding and training over the next several months with the goal of launching live in September. This is going to be a really nice enhancement for when the pool's open. Much higher quality system for the staff, and much cleaner and easier access for instructors and for the public, I think. So we're excited about that. We're informed by the school district that we will be without power for at least 2 weeks here, starting probably June 20th, they said. See? So our plan, we have a couple plans. One of them is we're going to move our main offices to the Crow's Nest during this time, take advantage. We're also going to do some aquatic visits during those times just to get staff off site. I did ask him specifically, there's no chance that it's going to happen before the 17th because we have a board meeting, so we need the room. And he said no, but he also seemed very indecisive about the dates. So we'll stay in communication with him about that. It's only this pod that's losing power. So we had a guy here a couple months ago, an electrician, and he was working while we were here, and we heard this loud pop, followed by "I'm okay" comment. So I think there's something going on it's just an old building with old electricity. So they're redoing all of this. It's fine. So it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks as we launch our summer programs. So, but we'll make it work. We got an aquatics consultant under contract for the next 6 months to help us advise us in some of the aquatic things. Again, we've turned a lot of our attention into operation decisions. So this is a gentleman that's kind of taken the money that we'd allocated for the drone person, and so it's just a couple $100 a month, but is available and has been answering all of my little questions of what about this? Sending him some of the product stuff, sending him some of the master swims was our conversation this week. How does that work and how's your experience? So it's just nice to have a professional on our side that has ran pools and knows all that stuff. So and then once we have the aquatics manager, it won't be needed. That's why 6 months was kind of the goal. So
how did you find this individual or referral?
I've known him for a while. He's someone who wouldn't be interested in our position, which is part of the reason that he was attractive to me. But he also is someone who he ran the Lake Stevens pool across the way. He's been on multiple master swim teams. He does what's the thing in a couple of weeks here in Langley, the open water swim. So he's just a pure aquatics guy. He just knows all the lingo. And when we're talking about all the stuff we're talking about now, which is operational stuff, he's just been there and done that. Not an expert. And like I said, the aquatics manager will make their own decisions when they get here, but it's just nice to have someone during this stage. And even as we look to start recruiting and putting together interview questions and interview panels for the aquatics positions, it's nice to have that person kind of with us to say the kind of things you'd be looking for, or those kind of, like the other day he said something, it isn't a random example. He goes, it's really smart to do a swim test with your lifeguard applicants before you do a sit down interview. He goes, you'd be shocked how many people can't pass a basic swim test, but will interview, but are applying to be a lifeguard. He goes, yeah, it happens, particularly high school kids. Oh, it's fine, but they can't swim a length of the pool. But anyways, little things like that, stuff that's just, you learn from experience. But so anyway, so it's a nice resource for us and pretty inexpensive as far as what's it cost us. Speaking of the aquatic center, Karen and I met with our insurance company to discuss premiums for the pool. It's going to be a significant amount. I think probably $20,000 a month is about a right starting point for what we're looking at. And that doesn't include earthquake insurance, which is something I'm having them look into, because can you imagine a world where we had a major earthquake right after the pool opened and we didn't have that covered? So they have to go to an outside agency for that. But the $20,000 a month number was without that. So there's not too many government players for insurance, but I am looking at other options too. AWC being one of them, Association of Washington Cities, and just to see if there's other, because it's a lot of money. It has to be covered and we have to pay it, obviously, but it's a lot. So anyways, so we are in the middle of that, trying to get some of that stuff figured out. And just a weird FYI, we had an issue with our April 22nd check batch. We took it to the post office on April 22nd, as we do when we get the checks. 2 weeks later, we're getting past due notices from places that we sent checks to. So Carrie in particular tried to do a lot of research and finds out they just weren't getting their checks. And then after about 2 weeks, they started getting their checks, some of them. We still have one that still hasn't got their check today. The issue doesn't seem to be Whidbey. It seems to be Seattle, that there's some issue downtown Seattle that did cost us some late fees. And so it's also making us much more aware of things like, which checks can be delivered or, because sometimes we'll get a check 30 days, at the beginning of the month, you guys will approve it at the board meeting, and then it's going to go the 4th week. So it's just strange. So we're keeping an eye on that. And, Carrie ended up paying one of I think it was Island Disposal. She ended up just paying with credit card. And they still haven't got their check today. So it's like, we'll just pay with credit card. And if you get the check, put it towards next month. It'll be fine. So,
So it does mean, I don't know if you put this in there, but some of the things that we usually say bigger expenditures for the batch that is approved at the board meeting. So we usually wait for some of those things. But some of those things we don't want to wait anymore and trust the mail and everything. So like our insurance, we don't want the insurance to lapse for anybody. So
Yeah.
there's a few things that we will pay earlier that you guys, would normally have approved.
Regular stuff,
Yeah.
not out of the box stuff. So
Yeah.
point is, we usually would wait till the board meeting when you guys say, yes, do it, approve the vouchers, and then we would pay it. Now we're probably, some of these we're just gonna pay and then put in the vouchers, let you know we paid it. But like insurance and stuff, not like, personal cards.
So we need to amend any of our financial procedures to say that's okay,
I don't think so.
because we are going outside the normal financial decision-making process and doing that. So I think if we don't document it that way, then we're gonna get audited.
Yeah. So our practice has been to be under $50,000 in the early voucher batch as a collective amount that we submit to the county for checks. And that has to do with, what I'm bonded for, our insurance for, if I malpractice, that sort of thing. But I actually couldn't find any policy that said that, but it is the practice that we do that. And then also we updated the policies as to how much you can approve.
Right.
So that has expanded a bit. So one thing I could do is submit it and then not mail it until you guys have approved it. That would still give us a week's lead time as far as the mail.
And submitting it would get through the delays in the processing of it. Give us,
Give you an extra week. And it depends how much you guys care. I think Carrie's right. That's why I hesitated because I haven't looked these deeply as Carrie did. I think it is a practice, not a policy. So it's what we've done. It's not necessarily what the board has said you're required to do. So it's kind of really what you guys are comfortable with. So we can, like Carrie said, we can do it up the first part of the month, have the check physically on hand the night of the board meeting, put it in the mail that night. We can, because the checks come on the 2nd and the 4th Wednesday. We're on the 3rd Wednesday. So we would get that check a week earlier. So let's use insurance as an example. We get the insurance check if it was done earlier on the 2nd Wednesday. We can hold it for a week if you guys are more comfortable with that till you say yes. Or we can just pop in the mail and let you guys know at the board meeting that was paid. So really it's kind of what you guys are, because it isn't a policy. It's really what you guys are
One way
comfortable.
or the other.
What's that?
We're gonna know one way or the other, and to
Right.
have something lapse would be.
We're talking about regular repeating bills. We're not talking about,
A truck park purchase.
we're not talking about one-offs. We're talking about bills that we have to pay every repeat.
These are all like physical checks. They're not electronic checks. Well, in today's world, it's
I
just
know,
weird
yeah.
that,
No.
when you say the check.
I'm
has to
dealing
go.
with the very same thing in our property management
Yeah.
division, because those are all paper checks. It's a real thing.
Yeah, and
Is
It's ridiculous.
there a reason? I'm just curious, my own curiosity.
it has to be with being a part of the county, and our account, our bank account is a collective account of all of these entities. And so they really limit electronic payments. And then there's certain things like insurance where they won't accept credit card.
I thought it might have to do with the amount, but it's more about checks and balances, I'm assuming.
It's that and also protecting the accounts.
Like we had asked if we could do a direct transfer of the Lincoln construction check so that we weren't putting maybe a $2 million check in the mail, right? I mean, that would be a lot smoother just to transfer the money. They wanted that too, but Island County said we couldn't. So that always makes us a little nervous.
yeah, I would just say that our policy should reflect, and our behavior and our policy should match. That's what we'll get audited against.
I don't know that we have a policy on this. We can dig a little deeper, but I don't know if there's a specific policy that says that we need to wait for that, other than the policy that has an approval. We had
Board oversight role, like, and if you said it's regular payments and we want to establish a certain set of payments based on their nature and their regularity and maybe do that, but this, maybe it makes sense to process them all early, not just for these, but for other vendors who are important. And out of 100 vendors, 28 are important. So then we leak those to the first week. And so, like I said, uncertainty is the enemy of good practice, right? So
It's almost like having a consent agenda for just a small number of financials. They're kind of automatically.
I would say you're talking about a forward approving,
Yeah,
like saying we're approved as part of this consent, this financial consent agenda, we're approving for June's first week,
I see.
anticipating.
Total amount.
You say, here's the estimate, and then when we come back in for the July financial consent agenda, we say, how close were we?
Yeah, well, and that's doable because I already have to estimate how much that's gonna be for our investment purposes. So I could give you that figure as part of the consent agenda.
and then it would be documented. So then in the case of an audit, there's timing, there's dates, there's documentation.
And we also say, these are estimates, right? And then we track every month how close we are on our estimates. We start off for 20% off, and then we learn, and we become 10% off, and then we learn, and we come through. So I think that follow-up is also part of that.
And you would see that, laid out in the document that we send out, the early voucher batch that has all of the expenditures so that
Sure.
you would be able to
Sure.
see it there.
But we're talking about cranes, and they say something, we did, because we talk about policy. The policy right now that you guys have approved is that I can authorize anything up to 15,000. So if an auditor came in and we had a $1,500 Regents bill that we paid, I mean, we would be covered under the fact that you guys have authorized me to pay that, and you're still being told about it later that month. So I do think we're covered from that. If we want to add another step into giving you guys that advanced knowledge, we certainly can do that. But we are, I think it's a policy. I think we're covered. I think it's just practice and how you guys want to practice.
Well, but it's the board oversight role. Right, so that all these expenditures are authorized under that policy, but the board oversight role also needs to be accounted for.
Yeah, and I think what the policy manual does say about the oversight is that you will approve them monthly. You will
Yes. Right.
approve those vouchers.
But not necessarily in advance. And that's where
As I said.
it can be. You guys can do whatever you want. You can make it say whatever you want.
It says monthly, it doesn't say which month.
Well, and that's true. Like the school district, I think they approve them like the next month. Because there are a few odd purchases where it actually happens in 1 month and you approve it the next month, such as late, quarterly taxes that we do at the end of the month. The next
Right.
month.
So the fact that it is a recurring known bill,
Mhm.
it's not, like you said, it's not for a major purchase, it's not for one-off stuff. It's just adding a layer of complexity to estimate and back into it. We don't need any more toing and froing. Carrie spends enough time manipulating numbers that she doesn't need to be.
Manipulates, it's true. Just kidding.
But I mean,
Sorry, you're right.
I assume that you guys all trust me quite a lot, but we are moving into a new time period and the thing that I've always kept in mind is that the amount that I'm bonded for, the amount that our insurance covers if I do something incorrectly or unintentionally.
But I mean, we missed a decimal point, right? And it was 100,000 instead of 10,000, so there's lots of ways board oversight can function.
Yeah.
I think, at this point, I think, like I said, if we can have a more formalized conversation, if you guys want to discuss the practice or the policy that we have. At this point, we're just kind of letting you know that our concern is that the people get paid, particularly the insurance people. That'd be bad. As Carrie kind of alluded to, it's going to get a lot more complicated as we get a lot bigger. And so this is getting this kind of foundation under us of how we want to handle this at this level. So we're ready for when it's at this level, so it's a bigger conversation. So, and you guys checked your emails yet if you read these, but just on the last thing I had before we hand it over to Sky, who's been waiting so patiently. I did work with the contractor June 11th, 4 o'clock. We're opening up the site across the street for the board to come over and do a visit. Jennifer had the opportunity, I don't know, a month or two ago in the mud. Actually, it was a pretty nice day to go over and look. It's kind of cool to walk it, and by the time we get there, it's going to even look more like a structure. So kind of fun to walk through. And Mark Bloom's going to join us, so he'll be there to answer any more specific questions. But it's just also just kind of fun to see. Oh, there's the offices, there's the party room. It's all kind of coming together. So if you can or can't make it over the next week or so, it'd be nice to know. I know I've already heard from a couple of you. Just because if most of you can't, then we may ask him for a different date. So anyways, if you're not sure yet, that's fine. So, okay. Okay, good. So that'll be a fun time to see some of it coming together. So with that, Sky has got a busy plate of summer activities. I think we'll switch over to his report, the summer programs report. So Sky, take it away.
2026 program.
It's not hitting me. Good call for a second. Sure why it's making me do that. There we go.
For youth sports, Admirals basketball, local non-profit that started up as a basketball club. We're doing 2 one-day shooting clinics for different age groups this month, and then we'll be doing 2-day a week with 2 separate age groups for 5 weeks, beginning in July. And with those, we'll be using the multi-purpose gym and the upstairs gym at the community center. Also means that we'll have to, I guess, when we get to pickleball, I'll go first.
What rough cost of that for a kid?
That one is.
Say that one's like 140.
So the single shooting sessions are $45 each, and then they're $190 and $210 for the 5-week long one. So they're getting 10 classes or 10 sessions out of it that are between 1 hour and 15 minutes and 1.5 hours each. Right. But it also it keeps basketball fresh with kids, because there's not, it's his goal with that is just that he's still continuing throughout the year. I don't have anybody from the schools that are running that ever reach out that want to do some basketball camps or anything like that. So this fills a good gap. Challenger Sports is the international soccer camp. Sometimes we'll be referred to as British soccer camp. They'll be here 2 weeks, so they'll be here the week after school is out, the week before the 4th of July. Those are 5-day camps. They start at age 3 and go up to 13, I think, 13 or 14. But that one, they've got a special, they're going to be here during the World Cup for that first one. So they're kind of tying in a special mini World Cup of their own and teaching the kids what it's about. That one, we get a lot of kids that sign up for it. And then we do one the first week in August also. And just as a testament to something we already know, we're getting diehard soccer kids from, I say kids, but they're all 18 to 25 years old. A lot of them play college soccer or are in training programs to become coaches. And they're all over the West Coast. And every time they come here, they're stupefied by how nice our soccer fields are. And I will go there after the camp is done and just watch them, because they just want to play on the fields for like another hour by themselves afterwards. Or they'll just see if they can find pickup games. So I always dig that one a lot. And you're bringing in some kids from another country. They're getting a good experience. We host families usually that are around here. And Racket sports. So Levi Buck is the high school tennis coach. Him, his sister, and mother, Carol Kramer, who used to be the high school coach forever. They run these together, but Levi's the person that's the lead on it. So he does his tennis camps. He does 4 sessions for 3 different age groups. Sessions are usually about 45 minutes. The cost on them is $45, $50. So it's a low cost. But with that this year, he also wanted to do pickleball camps. We have courts and are also really good pickleball players. So we have 2 3-day sessions with that, one in June, one in August. I think we will see how that one goes. Those are just going to be hour-long sessions at that time, and they'll be the same day as they do some of the tennis ones, just immediately after. For the Volley Kids Camp, which will be the first week right after school is out. That's run through Andy Jones, volleyball club. Skyhawks, who we contract with, they're kind of like Challenger Sports, and they offer multi-sport camps. Theirs is more of a full day thing. They'll be going they'll be going from 9 a.m. till 3 p.m. So usually it's, I think they're around $200 right now for a parent to be able to get 5 days of 6 hours worth of instruction. They mix in little games in between for some of the younger, it's, if your kid is on a select team, Skyhawks isn't for them, but if the kid is looking to have some fun, and just be introduced to some of the sports, it's perfect. They've also thrown in that the last year where we, for the first time, did the one where it was capture the flag, dodgeball, kickball, and ultimate frisbee, just for the kids that don't like your general big 4 sports. And then they also have a pickleball curriculum. So that one will be having a 5-day long, 6-hour pickleball camp. Having to negotiate with the pickleball players about that. And that one is in late July. And then there's also a flag football. And I'm realizing I left Levo Soccer off of that too. They do 2 camps. It's a local, Brian Ebling, who owns a local soccer uniform company. They outfit teams all over the world, but he runs local camps here, and those usually get like 100 kids during those camps when he does them. And he works closely with the youth soccer club, and I think he's doing those are 4-day camps, so it'll be the week of the leading up to the 4th of July, and then he does another one in mid-August. And that one, I think he has 4 or 5 different age groups, so it's not all day long, but they stagger each one. And he brings in professional soccer players and coaches, so usually he'll have like a player or 2 from the Tacoma Stars that'll come down and be with the kids. And I think the way he usually does it is he just rents an Airbnb for the week, brings all these soccer people that he knows from everywhere. They all get to hang out together, and then we'll coach kids, and they love it.
What's the older age group for the Skyhawks camp?
The older age
The
group,
Challenger camp, excuse
the
me,
Challenger camp.
or either or.
Older age group is 8 to 14 on the Challenger one. And then for the Skyhawks, they usually go ages. They go up to 12 years old on that. So they're listed as 6 to 12 years old. In years past, I had them do it 6 to 8 and 9 to 12, but they still all end up together. So we just deemed it 6 to 12 years old.
Now let's talk so we can promote this in PE classes, because that is way cool. There's just, lots of opportunity there, and kids that are not always doing things in summer that would do it if they know it's not as competitive.
Yes.
And some of that stuff is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, like the British soccer camp too is.
Yeah.
Like
And my kids did British soccer camp, had great experience there.
yeah, like he was sending me pictures of, they had to. For the first year, we have a guy that's based out of Seattle. for them. Usually it was out of Sacramento. But they were out for 2 weeks for their whole entire instructional seminars that they have with every coach that's going to be coming to the US. They used to bring in coaches from other countries, but it sounds like it's a lot more difficult to do that, and they can get the British ones in here a lot easier. Aquatics wise. Swim lessons, 3 2-week sessions. They're 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday. Christy Eager does that through the her swimming club. 18 classes per session. So you have parents and taught level 1 to level 6. Usually like the sweet spot of where most people are taking stuff are level 1 and level 2. And that one, I think she had to raise the price to about $145 this year. I know her insurance has gone up, and that useless pay has also raised the cost of using their facilities. As per usual, we had all the useless pay members in here in advance. I don't think it was as many as previous years because they switched out something at the beginning of the year where all the people that lived on the course weren't automatically members anymore. So that took out a big chunk of qualified for the early registration. Then, day one for the general public, it was constant phone calls. People getting registered in a mad dash. And one lady that was the first. We get a lot of people where they call because it's the first time, and all they've heard is like it's like getting Taylor Swift tickets or something. And I had one mom that was just like, can't get online, and my partner isn't helping me out. You need to do something right now. And they're like, it's taken so seriously, but you want them because, which is why we limit it to one swim class that first week. So we can give as much opportunity for everybody to get one. And then that following week, everything else is open to the public. So if you want to go for your second or third one, that's perfectly fine. And we go through and make sure that everybody acknowledges that if they sign their kid up for more than one in that first week, that they will get dropped from.
Which is one more reason why the pool is so very, very cool, having gone through that Taylor Swift route. Yeah, and honestly, nothing's changed. It was that way back then as well. My kids had to take swim lessons in Oak Harbor because they got bumped. So,
and I definitely, with numerous people I talked to, said it's going to be easier. This should be easier as time moves on. We open an aquatic center. Swim lessons will be not just these 3 sessions, over the summer and the year. It might be able to work with your schedule a little better.
There's Camp Casey too.
Yeah, Casey does
Lots of.
Yeah. So because we did get people that were coming down from Cleveland for some of these too, and so Camp Casey probably tried that. Makes it a little easier for the people that are in Central Whitby, I'm sure. We have the paddle sport camp with Whitby Island Kayaking. In years past, we've gone with the teen camps, but what we found is teenagers don't like to sign up for camps. Which I think anybody that's a parent here knows when their kid gets to be like 14, 15 years old, they want some autonomy, and being signed up for a camp somewhere usually isn't what they're in on there. They might be playing on a sports team that's, going to a team camp together. They might be playing for a select squad, or they might have a job or babysit. So we have that. Skim school with Austin. So how many years has Austin been doing the skim school?
Oh, gosh. 15, 20,
Yeah.
15, I think it's probably 15 years.
Yeah.
Reisman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been doing it forever, but fun little 2-day camp on a Monday and Tuesday out at Double Bluff, and love it. Youth sailing, 3 sessions, beginner and intermediate. That's probably our second biggest demand behind the swim lessons. Those fill up really quick, and The Southwood Sailing Association also does a really big push. They have signage up for a lot of their camps, and they've been putting a focus on some of that. Adult sailing starts here later on this month, and they have 2 sessions. They used to do a midweek one, but now they just do 2 weekend ones. So they have a beginner, and then for the people that have gone through that and are looking to have a little speedier boat, they have the intro to laser sailing. Those now too.
Is that just faster?
Yeah.
It's a little.
Lasers.
Other youth camps, J.R. Russell, been doing the magic camps with us for a long time, always successful. He's doing back-to-back camps in June for a 5 to 7-year-old and then 8 to 12-year-old, or actually I think it's 7 to 12-year-old. And then this year he wanted to do a camp also in August, just to see how it goes. He's never done that before. This year, we also have an intro to photography class. I got approached about that. That one is actually more for the 10 to 14-year-old age group. It's filled up pretty quick. We got 2 spots left. With that one, that is our first foray into the interlocal agreement that we have with the Port of South Whitby. So this class will be at the fairgrounds. Building's name, but for the most part, I mean, the photography class is going to be out around the fairgrounds and wherever else. But
How many kids total in that one?
I think
Roughly
12.
like 12.
Atlanta Steam. So they do the underwater robotics nonprofit based out of Clinton. They've sent people to nationals and international underwater robotics competition. She does 6 classes. They started around age 8. That one actually can get up to the 15-year-olds with some of them, because she also does a class where the purpose is to see if they're interested and ready to join the competitive team that they do here for the rest of it. And then she's also doing a class with that one for the plankton versus microplastic quest.
Smart.
I'm interested in years ahead, once we have an aquatic center or this agreement with the Port of South Whitby, if that can also add some new opportunities with what she can do with some of that. And then Whitby Watershed Stewards is doing their nature camp. They've done that. This is the 4th year now. And with us on that one, where they use the outdoor classroom. They change it and have a different theme every year. And this one is the Forest Ranger Challenge. 5-day camp, 9 to 3, and they do a younger age group, and then we're up to age 12. Adult programs, pickleball. So indoor sessions we're figuring out. We do have a demand for some indoor sessions over the summer. We have people that don't like the heat, don't like the maybe the surface, the rough surface they're not comfortable with. The gym is a nice, it's not soft, but it's definitely softer than the abrasive surface of the pickleball courts. We have people that just, they previously had some skin conditions, or they just really enjoy playing inside better. And want to know that they have us time to do it, because what we're finding is you don't know what the use of these our new courts are going to. And what I can tell you is the local community has done a good job. They've kind of fallen into an app called Team Reach. There's, I think, almost 200 players on it now, where they can use it to say, hey, I'm looking to get a group together of like 12, 16 of us, Thursday morning, 10 a.m. There'll be a group out there tomorrow. We have a couple other groups that don't use this that I know have groups of about 12 people that meet 4 days a week at certain times. So we're kind of sitting back right now to see, as the weather gets better, how it works out for it. I think one of the pieces that are, we're gonna see that they'll make people decide, will be if we can find a way to get some shading on those courts, because right now it is just fully exposed. So unless you are bringing your own chair with little parasol over the top, you're gonna be exposed to the heat. And then the other piece will just be, you know, the convenience of having a bathroom that's 20 feet away as opposed to 200 yards away. But all I've gotten are rave reviews about the court. People love them. We've got the wind stuff up. I went there earlier. You know, there were 4 women out there playing a game where they were feeling bonkle at each other every time they were hitting it with 2 balls going at once. They're working on their skills because they're getting ready for tournaments. We have an intro to pickleball class. We're working with Woodby Island Pickleball Club. So that's Barry Hayworth and his crew. And that'll be Wednesday and Friday evening in June, beginning of June. That one's a great way to just, anybody that wants to, is an adult that wants to learn the rules, $25. They do a great job. Usually they have about 12, and he's usually got 7 or 8 volunteers out there helping everybody out. First annual South Woodby Pickleball Tournament. So that'll be August 21st and 22nd. So it's a Friday and Saturday. We opted for a Friday for the men's and women's 60 and over. Because they all show up during the daytime as it is on the weekdays. So we figured it would be good to, instead of trying to take a whole weekend away from what we know, that, I mean, it's going to be the one time where we're going to take all the court and reserve those for ourselves. So the Friday will be a men's tournament, ages 16 over, women's tournament, age 16 over. The Saturday will be men's 18 and over. If you're 16 over and want to be in it, that's perfectly fine. We didn't have, I was apprehensive doing a co-ed tournament until we got through some of this first to see how they all go. What I'd like to do is kind of do it'd be a beta tournament coming up in the next month or so of a co-ed one. I was going to offer it super low cost or even free, but have it be a wood paddle tournament where they're having to use the old 1980s wood paddles. Because I think that would, it'd be an opportunity where nobody's out there with a $350 paddle that gives you a huge advantage. Everybody's on the same playing field. I don't think anybody would have any expectations. And it would give Katie and I a good opportunity to kind of get through this and see, okay, what are we thinking of when we're getting this tournament set up for the very first time? The tournaments that we're setting up for this first time, I set it up that it is intended only for people that are in our district. So Clinton, Freeland, Langley, or if a person outside of our district has ever bought a monthly pass over the last 3.5, 4 years, they can also do. And the intent was we wanted to give a tournament to the people that have been supporting us, that have, you know, they rallied around these courts. They were, you know, it's a strong community with these pickleball players. And I would hate to have a tournament where everybody off island takes all the spots and they're not feeling that they're getting an opportunity to just go out there and have a little. Because, you know, it's not going to be an overly serious tournament. I'm sure we'll have serious players, but be a good time. And if anybody wants skills classes, Katie, we can utilize Katie, and we always say that if a person can find 3 other people that are within their skill group, Katie will do a 90-minute session with them as a certified instructor. And I think it's $25 a person on those usually. Katie can bust out the ball machine that we have that has an awesome little app that you just set it wherever and tell it where you want balls hit and how fast. It has drills that you can automatically are preset within it. It goes up to 70 miles an hour, which we will never do with anybody, but just to see how it went, oh my gosh. You can't react to it because you can't see the ball coming until it actually is there. Regular pickleball, you see a ball coming across, somebody's swinging. This is just shooting it out. It's just Happy Gilmore is. Uh, with the other piece with the pickleball is just we've got some sessions where we aren't going to have gym access. So I still haven't decided. I don't want to reserve courts. But first we know they're not going to have it, so I'll probably lower the monthly pass fee for the indoor playing during that time and just recommend, hey, you've got an app now where you can say, let's just all meet at these times in the morning, because I don't know how I would organize anything where we could have people checking in, but still other groups are playing on other courts, because they're still all going to want to play with each other. And we haven't had any issues yet with any complaints of anybody. I think the biggest thing that was my concern was just people that were being court hogs. And our rule that we have is if all the courts are full and anybody's waiting, then it's a 2-game or 30-minute limit. Again, they all kind of know each other and self-govern well. It's the families. We got a lot of families out there because it's a fun place to take your kid. They don't even know the rules. They're just out there getting around, having a good time. And I have a feeling we're going to get a lot of off Islanders. I feel like word of mouth is going to get around of this beautiful set of pickleball courts in the middle of a forest on Woodby Island, the ferry too. Going to get a lot of pickleball tourists. Yeah. The other adult programs we have: adult sailing, intro and the laser, co-ed adult softball league, which is what I chose to put on the cover of the activity guide this year. Our softball teams have been slowly getting smaller and smaller, and I don't know if it's people don't want to play softball, that we have more of an aging population, and I really don't know. But by doing this, I was hoping it would open it up to maybe some people in Green Coopville figuring out, oh, there is an opportunity, because there's not a league in Oak Harbor. We're the only league on the island. And we've got gorgeous fields to accommodate. So
How many teams did we have last year?
we had 4 last year.
Just 4. Didn't even sign up yet.
No, they're notorious at not getting signed up usually till like the last day or two. Because they're all working. Well, yeah, they're working on sponsors or trying to figure out who their teams are before they do anything. And those we do games Wednesday and Friday nights. Anybody who wants to umpire, we pay $35 a game. They'll usually do 2 games in a night. And dancing with Gigi, I have a feeling, and most of you maybe have seen that name around now, because she has done a wonderful job of putting herself anywhere where there could be considered a dance floor. She will just do like surprise pop-up dances at different places, but she's been doing stuff over there, and it's slowly picking up because she has people that I worked with her, telling her, like, here's places that you could probably offer these at nights, the top or wherever it is that you want to. But from those, then she says, I also offer classes on Sundays, and gets new people coming within that. So that's great. Tuesday concerts in the park. We have increased from 3 bands to 6 bands. Now that we've got a little more time with this. So the Nathaniel Talbot Trio, which is, I guess that's what I put it would be, Oak Americana, off of Woodby Island. Emily McVicker, she's a unique artist. She's also a lead singer for a Taylor Swift cover band, but she has a huge YouTube following. She lives on the island, and she's like a one-man band with her looping board. So she's the person that will make a sound, loop that, add another drum sound, play a guitar riff with it, and all of a sudden it creates a song. And then she will do the vocals for it and play along with it and cover whatever we want. I mean, our catalog is pretty big, but it definitely park friendly one that we have. Sunset Grooves. I found a yacht rock band I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah.
Because I'm a yacht rock nerd. So if you love soft rock from the late 70s and early 80s, little Doobie Brothers and Christopher Cross and Jethro Tull. And that one worked out well. They're out of Seattle and they just came up when I did a search. And when I reached out to them, at first it was, normally we won't go that far. And then it was, oh wait, one of our band members' parents lives in Coopville. You got a place to say, yeah, we'll definitely do this. Be a trip for us. Poser, so they do their 90s cover band. Dana Osborne band, we've had him before. That's another band where they live on island and he is always excited that he doesn't have to travel off island for a gig. He plays a lot of casinos in the area and his would be like 70s and 80s classic rock.
Did we have them last year?
Yes.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yeah, they're a good time. And then the Moonlight Swing Orchestra, who is now just become a standard for us. And they usually close out our concert series and they're playing just songs in the big band era is the best way. And older group, they love coming out here for it. A lot of them are just old, tired school teachers or still school teachers. And they usually come from the greater Bellevue as choir. Yeah. But that was a pretty big group of horns and everything else. Thursday, August 13th, trivia in the park. So I figured 2 concerts in the park. Let's do a trivia. Everybody can bring their trivia team together. We'll have 4 rounds. I'm figuring with the idea of reaching out to some of the local trivia hosts so that they can also promote where they're at and what they do. I've hosted trivia nights also. So what I always recommend is not the smartest people. If you can diversify from young to old, I would definitely have, like if I'm putting this together, I'm definitely going to have questions that I know only Lola would know. 10-year-old Lola on a team, but that's an advantage. And what I always tell people with trivia when they say, I don't know anything is you just have to know one question that your other teammates don't know and you've served your purpose. That's all you need to do. So I'm excited for that one to see if we can pick something up with those ones. The LM Premier Hoops Beats and Bites 3-on-3 basketball tournament. Saturday, July 18th. So Lewis will be doing that again this year. I don't know. How many years has Lewis been doing this? I feel like this one's 10.
At least.
Yeah.
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 He wanted to be working with the high school to try and broaden this and have some other rounds going on in the high school. I'm leaving that up to him. I don't know how accessible high school is over the summer. I don't think it's gonna be. But with that, he also brings in a DJ and usually Fair Market sets up a little food area that people can grab their food while they're playing and do whatever with. So, and then the concert Story and Magic in the Park for kids. So with that one, I wanted to take a concert in the park and instead tie it together. So we have Snow Isle Libraries every Wednesday at 10 a.m. comes and does their stories in the park. So we're going to piggyback on that and then offer a kids concert, a magic show with J.R. Russell. And I'd love to work with a juggler. What's that? If we can figure out a way to get him in there, I'd love to have a good little juggling act going with that.
I'm busy. Sorry. Oh, you weren't talking about.
So you're juggling a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that's the concert poster for any of you that ever were part of Columbia House, early 80s.
And I will say, I noticed the one event that isn't on here that I might throw in too is Kids Day, Children's Day. in September,
Oh, yes, that's in September.
which is coming back to the community park. So the 13th, whatever the second Saturday in September is, right? That's the,
The weekend
yeah.
after,
So
like,
we're not putting that event on, but we are participating with them this year and hosting. So
I think it would be community.
yeah,
Association, that's-
so we're excited. We're excited to be part of that again and try to bring back what was a pretty popular event from what I
Whatever
understand.
happened to Rocket?
Oh. They moved. They got moved to New York. So they could be closer to their daughter, because that was, yeah. By losing the goods, we lost Rocket Camp and I've hit up numerous musicians about a music camp. So,
Keegan doesn't have bandwidth?
yeah.
Haha. Doesn't have time with.
That's the other one I hit up,
Oh, yeah.
because she teaches over at the Hale too, but I think it's a bit intimidating for her until she does. I'll keep hitting up artists.
Any questions for Sky? It's a busy, the
Awesome.
summer report's always a
Great.
busy one.
Thank you.
You didn't talk about the pickleball nights. Where's that?
Oh, there's the family pickleball nights. So that one's Mondays. That one, what I wanted with it was to have a night where families could come out. Barry's gonna work with us on that one to just be an ambassador for Woodby Island Pickleball. Like, there's not a fee or anything. It's just when we're promoting, hey, come out with your kids and families to come play here. And then it doubles also as a time where the diehard players know, okay, Monday nights, we're just gonna take off and let the families have this. But Woodby Island Pickleball will be out there answering questions, giving any hints, anything like that. So,
What time is that?
that one, I think I have it from 6 to 8, 5 to 7.
I've been real happy. A lot of nights now I'll go out and play pickleball in the courts with my daughter or with my wife. And the amount of kids I'm seeing out there, 10 to 12, those kind of ages, with their parents, a couple times even without their parents, we're playing, not screwing around. And it's been really encouraging to see the amount. I'm there after work hours. I'm not there when the hardcore people are there during the day. I'm getting the families out there but there is always 2 or 3, 4 courts, people playing and, just having fun, just hitting the ball back and forth. So
Yeah, and that's 6 to 8 o'clock.
Email me the poster file.
Sky probably can.
Yes, I probably can.
He has them in his files. Very fancy. So, any other questions for Sky? Great. Thanks, Sky. Operation guy.
I guess the only other thing to add on to is a lot of the camps we have, we're gonna be at the sports complex this year. In years past, we've used both sides, but because of all the construction, it seemed to make more sense to try. Keep everybody on the other side over there as much as we could. Now there's big septic tank that's.
A few things going on
right
right
now.
Right, so let's move on to committee and community meeting reports, if there are any. All right,
For lakes, for the, Fish and Wildlife, water access committee, we were supposed to have a meeting next week, specifically about freshwater recreation and start to get into the individual communities within the entire Region 4. But just yesterday or today, really recently, it was canceled. So it'll be rescheduled for another date.
That was strange. It's like 10 minutes after these RSVP, and 10 minutes later, cancel.
They're in their busy season.
Yeah. So, I think, May 29th meeting was incredibly ambitious.
Lots of lake stocking still. Upper, higher elevation lakes, I think they're still stocking.
Brother who lives by Deer Lake had a rainbow trout dropped in his driveway as he was walking up his driveway behind him. And it's like, some bird lost its dinner. So anyways.
And I'll just say I've had maybe 6 or 8 people in the last month comment on the fact that we're maintaining Goss Lake at a better level than it's been maintained in their lifetimes on South Woodby, and that's, it's been progressive, we got we're trash regularly and doing some you know, some of the infrastructure repairs here and there. So kudos to the staff for what they're doing.
I'll give them that feedback.
All right, we'll move on to unfinished business, outside benches at the Aquatics Center.
I'm only bringing this back again because I'm not because I want to talk about these benches anymore, but last month, in the discussion, the Trex benches got a lot of traction, got a lot of popular discussion. And, Krista had given the feedback that it would be nice if they had an option that didn't have the restrictions of the arm. So what I'm basically just bringing back to you, just as a visual, the actual Trex brand did not have those as a version. This is the version at the high school that Eric said kids jump on and beat down, and it stands the cost of time. But I did find a similar version, similar material, just not a Trex, just lost the name. But something like that, I think, is kind of, Krista, what you were looking at, something that didn't have the, something that, so anyways, I don't know if there's a discussion point here other than, we'll look at both of those options when we're actually ready to purchase, which will probably be 10 months from now. We'll actually bring back actual things for you guys to look at. The other wild card in here is, and we'll talk about this in a few minutes, Pat McVeigh had asked the question to me the other day was, hey, would you guys ever want me to do a bench for the aquatic center? Which I'm sure they'd be very interested in that discussion. So yeah, because he does such great work. So he threw that out to me. So that's another option on the table. So anyways, I wanted to follow up because it was a point of discussion last month. If you guys have any comments, feel free to throw them in. But at this point, we're just planning just to table the benches until we're ready to make final decisions. So
Yeah, and Pat, if you remember at the ferry dock, he had a aquatic theme bench for a while that he was selling and eventually got sold. So it had a big orca, and so I would imagine he could do like an aquatic theme set of benches that could connect to the
so talented.
sound.
Anyways, so that'll be coming down the pipe. Pat was going to join us here tonight. I explained to him that it wasn't required and he opted not to we'll get to his topic in a few minutes. So that was, I didn't really have much to say other than I wanted to make sure I followed up on what was brought last month. So
Comprehensive plan programs.
okay, I got some new fun pictures even from what I sent you last week. Start with the pickleball courts. Sports court surfacing has been completed. We had to close the courts for about a week. Supposed to be a sunshiny week. We had a little bit of rain that delayed us a little bit, but we did great. I'll show you a picture in a second. The Sky reference, the windscreen is up that was purchased. And so the only thing left to do is billing and dealing with RCO. I'm meeting with the RCO grant representative, Rachel, next week. Oh yeah, next week, the 26th. So just for a final walkthrough, which just basically is making sure that there's 6 courts and we did what we said we would do, which we have. So that's exciting. And I'll show you some fun pictures now. These are the actual drone pictures from Trico, who was the contractor that we hired. So a nice aerial view of the courts, a little lower. You'll see, color looks good. Quality's good. It's a fun environment. And as Sky said, having been out there now quite a bit, you just don't hear any complaints. You don't hear anyone saying, oh, this is ridiculous or this is done badly. Everyone's really happy. We are talking about shade as it gets hotter, even some cheaper, simpler options. It's just, that's the only drawback, but real pleased with the contractor, the work that was done. Everything turned out really well. I thought this was kind of a cool, she did an aerial picture of pretty much the entire park, which kind of shows you the fields and context. So anyways, yay, it's exciting to have that done and to be able to celebrate that with the community. So onto the pool. I mentioned before the June 11th board site visit, which we talked about, and then also mentioned the drone. So those things that we've already discussed, and we've talked about the consultants related with stuff here we've already discussed. The parking lot across the street became an issue with Island County. The 1 or 2 of the staff in there were complaining that we were taking their water, which I'd explained Island County wasn't their water, and that it was a well, because they wanted us to pay for it. So a real nice guy. And he's the newer facility director up there. he never had been to this building, didn't know how the water was set up, didn't know how anything was set up. They thought we were using their electricity, which we're not, and we were taking up their parking lot, which subcontractors were taking up probably 5 or 6 spots a day. And I just said, we'll be a good neighbor. We'll just ask the contractor not to park in the parking lot anymore. I said, the water doesn't cost you anything. If you want to discuss that, we can. When he realized that, he was fine with us using the water. And electricity was never an issue. So now the contractor is, for the most part, parking on site. When they get busier, they'll find a parking spot. They can always park in the park. So that was, you saw some of these, but these are the newer drone pictures that Sky's taken. You'll see here, just from a context, you obviously see the pools coming together. So you'll see the framing has got a lot more intense. Let's see if there's the newer one of the hot tub. It's kind of a close up just for fun. Yeah, it's all put together well. These are the stairs down into the lap pool, the new water silo, and then of course the lazy river feature, which is yeah, just fun little side pictures. The water silo is pretty much done. They're here this week. We've had a few safety issues with them as far as stuff they're leaving behind. There was part of me going to play pickleball. I often will walk down to the silo afterwards just to see the progress. And there's a day when they left the electrical room there wide open. Twice now I've gone and they've left their 30-foot ladder leaned up against the ladder that's halfway up the thing. So any kid or anybody could literally just shoot right to the top of the thing. Now, from a liability standpoint, it's the contractor's liability. It's his work site, but from just a common sense safety issue. So yesterday I took the ladder down again, got hold of our contractor and said, listen, you've got to tell him he's got to secure this ladder because you got a lot of kids playing soccer. When I came yesterday, I passed 10 kids from the pickleball courts down to that silo that were just going up to their soccer practice. And any one of them could have diverted down that trail and said, oh, that looks like fun. So safety is a big issue. So a contractor said he was on it. And he's been pretty good, so I believe he is. So anyways, a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff going on. The stuff's really coming together across the street. It's a lot of fun to watch. So that is the comprehensive plan programs, pickleball and pool. That seems to be our life. Any questions?
Moving on to new business, dedication of a memorial bench.
And we'll go back to the Pat McVeigh discussion. I made a paper copy for you. The color, I think Jennifer got the best color version. The copier didn't make as good a one. Those were actually the two sketches that Pat gave us. Pat could be here to give you the backstory if you wanted to, but this was a tribute to a young man who had passed and played on the fields quite a bit. So Pat actually had made a beautiful bench in honor and gave it to his family. And now Pat would like to do a similar one for us. Location-wise, just to give you a little bit of context, upper soccer fields off to your left. It's kind of up on the hill there, kind of overseen the upper soccer field. So if you're walking the path or if you're playing a soccer game, it's a great place to see there. And you can see that Tom and his guys, just in preparation of the possibility of doing this, have kind of cleared this space out. It was a pretty easy clear. It was pretty open. Tom and I went and met with the two McVeighs a month or so ago. Just kind of walked the site to see if that was where they wanted. It was, and it was a nice spot. It's a good tribute for a kid that played soccer, from what I understand, and I think ran cross country if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, cross country runner, and that's on the cross country course.
Yeah,
and he played in that upper soccer field. It's on soccer.
Yeah,
soccer field.
So Pat
is no Brian.
Yeah. So Pat has given you guys kind of the sketch of what he'd like to build. He hasn't built it yet, obviously. It includes the bench, and it also includes a little side table, for lack of a better way to put it. A little thing is like a little thing that'll go to this side where you could put a drink or just enjoy it. So instead of just putting a simple plaque on it, he wanted to do something extra.
Is it gonna have, will there be like a board foundation that it sits on or
No,
something?
so that's not the current plan.
Right.
The current plan is just to put it on the ground. So wouldn't cost us anything. It's all contributed by the family and by Pat. It's just and there's not a physical bench to approve at this point. I just wanted to bring it to you, so if you had any concerns, I could share those now. Otherwise, I will release Pat to begin the work, and with our great appreciation, and let him know if he wants to discuss a bench at the Aquatic Center. We'd certainly love to have that conversation too. So, yeah,
Will we know when they're gonna do the dedication?
it's gonna take him a while to do this. So I'm thinking could be end of year even. I mean, I think it's gonna be a while. So I was actually a little surprised he was ready to talk to me. When we had met last month, he was still finishing up and working on the project for the parents. So,
Great.
we'll see. But
And my guess is it's something that the school would want to be involved with, so probably fall.
yeah, we can see. Yeah, just depends on how quickly he can get it done. So it was some good stuff and exciting, beautiful location for it. Tom said we had a bench there before, just a traditional standard bench. So you can imagine watching soccer there and get a good place to lounge. So, all right. Well, if there's no comments or discussion, then I will give him the green light, and that's all I got.
With that, we are adjourned at 7:25.
So, recording.
It's been 40 years since I've attended a South Recreation Board meeting.